Desperate after losing his job, Tom took a chance and bought a sedan for a bargain price at a police auction. The car seemed like the perfect solution until an odd rattling sound led him to remove the driver's door panel. What his trembling hands pulled from the hidden compartment made his blood run cold, and his girlfriend's advice worsened his situation. Tom Miller sat at his kitchen table, staring blankly at the bank statement in front of him. The numbers seemed to mock him. His savings would barely cover 2 months of expenses. At 32, he never imagined he'd be in this position. Just 3 weeks ago, he had been confidently working on a major project at the tech firm, where he'd spent the last 4 years building his career. The company-wide email had come without warning. Due to budget cuts, they were eliminating an entire department. His department. Tom ran his hand through his hair, the reality of his situation weighing heavily on his shoulders. That evening, Sarah returned from her nursing shift to find Tom still at the table, surrounded by job listings and budget spreadsheets. She placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. Sarah had been his rock for 3 years, through promotions and setbacks alike. She insisted they would figure something out together. They always did. Hours passed as they brainstormed solutions. It was Sarah who suggested the ride-share idea. With Tom's friendly personality and knowledge of the city, he could make decent money while continuing his job search. The only problem was his current car, a 15-year-old hatchback with over 200,000 miles that frequently broke down. They couldn't afford a new vehicle, not with their savings dwindling and rent due in 2 weeks. The next morning, Tom spotted an advertisement for a police auction while scrolling through local events. Law enforcement periodically sold seized vehicles, often at prices well below market value. It seemed like a potential solution to their transportation problem. The auction was scheduled for the following day. Tom arrived early, walking slowly between rows of vehicles. His hopes began to fade until he spotted a dark blue sedan toward the back of the lot. The paint was faded in spots, and there was a dent in the rear bumper, but otherwise it looked surprisingly intact. When the auctioneer finally reached the sedan, Tom expected fierce competition, yet for some reason, the bidding remained unusually low. Either way, Tom couldn't believe his luck when the gavel came down, and he became the sedan's new owner for just over $4,000, roughly a third of its typical value. That afternoon, Tom drove his new purchase to Sarah's workplace. The engine ran smoothly, and despite needing cosmetic work, the car seemed mechanically sound. For the first time in weeks, genuine enthusiasm crept into Tom's voice as he told Sarah about his plans to fix the minor issues himself. By next week, he could be earning money again. Their immediate financial crisis might be averted. The following morning, Tom began working on the sedan. The work felt good, purposeful, a stark contrast to the helplessness of unemployment. While detailing the interior, Tom noticed something odd. Whenever he closed the driver's side door, he heard a faint rattling sound. At first, he ignored it, but after hearing it repeatedly, his curiosity got the better of him. Tom gathered his tools and began removing the door panel. The plastic covering was already loose in one corner, making his job easier. As he carefully pried it away from the door frame, the rattling sound became more pronounced. Something was definitely wedged inside. The panel came away easily, revealing the inner workings of the door. Tom's eyes immediately locked onto something that didn't belong among the window mechanics and wiring. A weathered nylon bag had been stuffed into a gap in the door frame. It was jammed in tightly, clearly hidden there intentionally. Tom's heart rate quickened as he carefully extracted the bag. It was heavier than expected. A voice in the back of his mind warned him to stop, but curiosity overrode caution. With slightly trembling hands, Tom unzipped the bag. What lay inside made his blood run cold. Nestled in the nylon pouch was a handgun, its metal surface scratched but clearly functional. Beside it lay several thick bundles of cash, each secured with rubber bands. 2 black ski masks were tucked alongside the money, their purpose unmistakable. Tom's breath caught in his throat. He was holding evidence of a robbery, perhaps even a violent one. How long had these items been hidden inside the door? Who had put them there? With growing shock, Tom began counting the cash. Each bundle contained thousands of dollars. The total came to nearly $30,000. More money than he currently had in his bank account. Money that could solve all their immediate problems, and then some. The shrill ring of his phone shattered the silence, making Tom jump. Sarah's name flashed on the screen. He answered with an unsteady voice, telling her he'd found something while working on the door panel. Something serious. She needed to come over right away. When Sarah arrived 20 minutes later, her expression shifted from concern to disbelief as Tom showed her what he'd discovered. The gun, the masks, the money, all evidence of a crime they had unwittingly stumbled upon. Tom immediately suggested calling the police. It was the right thing to do, the only thing to do. His finger hovered over the call button on his phone, ready to dial. But Sarah placed her hand over his, stopping him. Her nursing salary had been keeping them afloat, but just barely. They were already behind on rent, and Tom's unemployment benefits would run out next month. She asked him to wait, to just think about their situation for a moment. Sarah pointed out that the money had clearly been hidden for some time. The robbery was likely years old, the case probably cold by now. If the police hadn't found this evidence after seizing and auctioning the car, they probably never would have discovered it. Tom paced nervously across the garage, torn between moral obligation and desperate need. What if they could trace the serial numbers on the bills? What if fingerprints remained on the gun? Sarah's voice grew softer as she laid out an alternative. They could be careful, using small amounts of cash for groceries, gas, and other necessities. They could slowly integrate it into their lives, buying time until Tom found permanent employment. No one would ever know. Hours passed as they debated their options, weighing risks against rewards, morality against necessity. Tom spent the evening researching online, searching for news of unsolved robberies in their area. He found several reports from 3 years earlier describing a series of bank robberies where the perpetrators had never been identified or caught. The description matched perfectly. 2 individuals in black ski masks, one carrying a handgun with the same distinctive grip as the one they'd found. That night, Tom couldn't sleep. The gun and money now sat hidden in their bedroom closet, a secret burden weighing on his conscience. Every distant siren made him flinch, imagining police officers at their door. Beside him, Sarah slept peacefully, apparently unbothered by the moral dilemma that kept him awake. To her, they needed money, and fate had provided it. Why question such a gift? By morning, Tom had reached his decision. The weight of indecision had become unbearable. With shaking hands, he picked up his phone, knowing what he had to do. But before dialing, he glanced at Sarah sleeping peacefully in their bed. His eyes drifted to the stack of unpaid bills on their kitchen table, then to the notice of final warning from their landlord. One phone call would relieve his conscience but plunge them further into a financial crisis. The phone felt impossibly heavy in his hand as Tom stood frozen between 2 impossible choices: keep the money and live with the guilt, or do the right thing and face potential homelessness. Either way, life as he knew it would never be the same. What would you do if you found yourself in Tom's position? Would you return the money and face the consequences, or keep it and hope the past stays buried?